What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 147 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin, and we have Angelo James Pagano with us as well this week. What's up, guys?
Not a whole lot.
You're immaculate.
What's the good word? Anything too exciting this week?
It's freaking cold. That's what's up.
Why do we
So
have
cold.
Angelo on?
Because we're bored.
Actually, that is a legitimate question. I just got a message today. It's like, hey, look, what are you doing tonight?
I mean, like, that's Carl and I were just like, man, like, we don't really have anything new between us to talk about, and I'm sure, obviously we'll talk, but like,
Yeah.
what everyone else is doing. Let's go reach out and talk to some people.
The plan was to have like Aaron, like Nav, you're on here too, and we have 4 of us talking at the same time, and it'd just be a mess.
I was gonna reach out to Jay, but by the time that Aaron said he couldn't, it was already starting time. So I didn't want to read
Bedtime.
like,
Yeah.
Jay, what are you doing right this very second? And also, are you at your computer? And also, do you want to talk? So yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Angelo's here to just kind of riff and talk. I am like super low energy tonight. I know Carl's been working all day, so Angelo, this is all you, buddy.
Yep.
I work a job too, guys. Like, I have a job.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but like, do you?
Listen, just because I work in the industry and I work in my apartment and nothing actually starts until like, that actually is a lie. On Monday, I had a 9 a.m. meeting and I was very angry at whoever like scheduled the 9 a.m. And then I realized it was me a week before, so it was my fault. But outside of that, yeah,
Good
no.
job.
I mean, ignoring the fact that like I don't need to be an adult before noon, I still have a job.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I'm just saying, I haven't seen pictures of you working in a while, so I really don't know if you have.
Do you want me to send like desk pictures of my desk?
Like daily updates of you working from home.
I mean,
I
there's
literally
no confirmation that you do. So like,
literally cannot send you what I work on most of the time. I deal with NDAs.
See, this is
why we can't prove it.
Is there's a lot of discrepancies between what you say and what you do. No, you don't actually share us anything, but just in case Angela's boss and or a lawyer is listening.
Yeah, just in case.
Yes. Let's talk some mods, guys. Like how are the vibes in game? I know it's actually been it's been a little over a month ever since Scarlet and Violet have come out. And at this point, a lot of most people have already finished the story. Some of them, Carl, have completed the Pokédex.
Some of us haven't beat, the E4.
We do everything at our own pace, but where's everyone at with their games?
Other than being completely done and just grinding resources. I got a shiny Dondozo and a shiny Palafin yesterday.
I don't. I have my shiny Mudsdale that I caught, but past that, I have my 18 badges.
Yay!
And that's as far as I've made it. I haven't done the E4. I haven't done
You've got 6 fights before the last story.
Yep, and that's as far as I've made it.
Which the E4 is a pushover.
Yeah. I'm just gonna like rewind a little. When did you get a Mudsdale?
Oh, I've had one. I got a shiny Mudsdale forever ago.
Since when?
Oh, dude, like,
just forget this.
I was getting stuff ready to fight the water gym leader, and I ran in. I was just like up on a cliff. I'm like, huh, that's really weird. That Mudbray sprite's really weird. And then another one just walks by. I'm like, oh. I figured out why it's weird, guys.
I actually just got my first shiny in Sword and Shield last Friday,
You mean Scarlet Violet, right?
I got Scarlet and
He's
Violet.
what he said.
Okay, so actually, this is great because the last pod I told you I was on, which was the Scarlet and Violet preview show. I said I was probably going to say Sword and Shield until next year.
Yep.
So I have 9 days where it's acceptable. So as I got my first shiny in Scarlet in my Violet playthrough last Friday. If you was up with me over the last with gameplay and especially over the last few days, COVID finally got to me. I was on a solid 2.5, 3-year run of no virus, and it finally hit me probably at the chiropractor's office or something. And so I decided that I was just going to make a massive dent in my Pokedex over the last weekend. So from 260 Pokemon caught to 275-ish or so. I think the only Pokemon I have left are Appleton line and all of the version exclusives, and that's all I have left with the Dex.
That's not that bad.
And while I was going for the Dex last Friday, I was like, huh, Rufflet's not the right color. And then I looked at it for about Carter 5-10 seconds, looked at the other one, looked back at it, I was like, oh wait.
Oh.
So my Palafin that I got was a Finizen outbreak that I just happened to just be standing over, and I was kind of just not really paying attention to it. I was watching Joe UX9's pop-up tournament number 2. It had just started round 1 or something. He was playing some weird Parish Trap team, was horrendous. But Kayla had called me and she was getting ready to come home, and she just got off the phone with me, and I turned and looked at my screen and I hit the joystick to make it wake up and be bright again, and there's just Finizen just going across the bottom of my screen. I'm just looking at it, I'm just that's not right. That can't be right.
Yesterday, right?
Yeah.
That was yesterday.
And then I jumped down into the water and landed right on top of it.
So, I mean, actually, this is going to be a great thing. I'll also just explain where I'm at with the game in general, because I didn't actually say that. I did, finish the storyline, went to Area 0, just doing the Dex right now, grinding Delibird raids to just date this episode, because those are a thing. They just became a thing.
Yeah.
And
they just started, right?
Yeah, they just started.
It literally just did. Those 5-star raids, my God, I got
yes.
So the 2 5-star raids I've done, I've gotten cumulatively 40 Terra Shards between the 2 raids. They'll be
great.
over by the time this airs. But if somehow you're listening in to Carl Carter and I right now, do as many 5-star Delibirds as possible, because that will save you so much.
And if you've been offline and you didn't connect to the internet, don't connect to the internet.
It's actually that too.
You can keep grinding them.
Raids.
You can keep grinding them if you're offline. If you date skip forward, if you don't go back in and update the Poke News, you'll still have the event running. I was able to do Charizards for a couple days after the first time it went through. That's why I have a surplus of resources now.
Very, very interesting. Did not know that.
I have 500
side,
Dragon Terra Shards or something now.
In other Terra news, the Cinderace event got announced as well. That's going to be
it's whatever. It's Cinderace.
I do think it's interesting that we're going to have Charizard and Cinderace back.
I think,
but the thing is, neither of them are legal yet.
Yeah, none of them are going to be legal yet.
That's the key. Is yet, but I mean, obviously, there's a reason they're putting them in the game. Yeah. They're going to make them legal. So
yeah, it's just they're not going to have a Pokedex number, so they can keep them out of the game until they want to put them in the game. So
that'll be Series 2, maybe.
I mean, legitimately, it could be.
Yeah,
that could be what Series 2 is. Just here's Zard, here's Cinderace, here's some other Pokemon from home. Have fun.
I honestly, what I expect for the whole like promoted raids to be is like there was the Charizard, we're getting Cinderace, next will be Rillaboom probably, and Teleon. We'll do the starter thing up until Series 2 starts, and then we'll start seeing like, hey, now that we've done all these are Pokemon that are added and that aren't in the Paldea Pokedex. And you can add those and do that.
Yep.
Because Series 2 will start at the end of January, early February. I don't think we'll have a home integration by then on the current timetable. And so this will be the only way they can guarantee that everyone will have these things is by pushing them through the event process.
Yep. And honestly, man, I'm fine with that. I think these special events are great. I think that it just adds in the ability for other people to have the new Pokemon, like to have Pokemon that they don't have access to, because not everyone played Sword and Shield. Some people, this is their very first Pokemon game. Yeah. So being able to get these Pokemon naturally in your game without having to have 25 years of Pokemon to back it up is a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Like, I know I mentioned this in the last in the Gen 9 preview pod, but like this is my brother's like first generation back since like X and Y. So like actually, so when he was going through his playthrough, I think he is currently doing the Area Zero stuff like as of recording. But like he would like the first weekend or so, he would like send me like Pokemon from Gen 7 or Gen 8. I know one of them, he sent me Snow. He's like, is this like a new Pokemon, or like have you seen
something I've just missed?
Yeah, like, and that's literally just been like that. Literally was like the first like 2 or 3 weeks. I would be like at Amanda's house, and I would get like 7 texts from Maddie, and Amanda would be like, "What does your brother need?" And I'm like, "Well, either like the Phillies or like the Eagles did something great,
Pokemon, or it's Pokemon related."
Yeah, and I would check. I would get like 5 like pictures of like different like Gnome or even like some of them were like newer Pokemon. Like I know it's like Cyclozar was one that like he didn't. I think the only trailers you saw were like the first 2. Like he really like the only Pokemon he knew were the starters and like the legendaries. So like seeing like something like even like Palma or like what's it called? Like again like Cyclozar, like that was like something where like blew his mind to see like the Tauros forms, because he's never played a game with regional forms and such.
Yeah.
That were big. I mean, speaking of like new things and such, I know like Carl, you mentioned getting your shiny like the shiny Palafin into Palafin. What are your favorite Gen 9 Pokemon?
I love Dondozo Tatsugiri.
I have 2 that immediately come to mind. I have Skeledirge, and I have Tinkaton.
I am not a Tinkaton stan. It's a cool Pokemon. I'm just like not head over heels infatuated by it like everybody else seems to be.
I love it. It's so good. I absolutely love it. I haven't played with it at all in like Series 1. So I'm just gonna go find next week Team of the Week real quick.
It's because Tinkaton hits like a plastic bag.
I mean,
like they gave it a really good attack. Like in Tinkaton Hammer, it has really good coverage. It's got Mold Breaker. It's got like base 90 attack. It is
It's not base 90. It's like base 75. I think.
Yeah, it's something ridiculously low for a physical attacker.
Let's pull up the actual stats and let's see if I can read.
Like to top it off,
it is base 75.
To top it all off, it's just like fairy types aren't that great right now, just because you just like the coverage isn't really necessary anymore because everything that's weak to fairy just goes away from it.
I am going to disagree a little with that because like when you look at some of the like top Pokemon, I'm going to also pull up Pikalytics because we do this live, everyone. Like you're looking at where is Sylveon?
Sylveon almost is like the only fairy type you play.
Dude, it legitimately is.
Like, I literally
borderline
had this
top
conversation
10.
with Carter the other day. Sylveon is the only fairy type that sees play.
I was also seeing, like, in a lot of, like, the tour results that we've been seeing, or just in general, it feels like Azumarill is starting to become popular as well as
That's
a
because
physical
it hits
fairy
like a truck
counterpart.
with Aqua Jet.
Yes, but it does have that fairy coverage as well.
They're not playing it for fairy coverage. That's the whole reason it's there, is just to have huge power Aqua Jet.
An added bonus.
That's the reason you click huge power and
You just get the Aqua Jet things before anything gets to activate. You're a natural Garchomp counter.
Really is really good.
You're a counter to Garchomp. You're a counter to Fire Hydreigon. You don't care about Steel Hydreigon as much.
Really good counter, even with the terrain up, because just go and click attack like Liquidation or Aqua Tail into.
Oh, you just click Ice Spinner
for Psy Spam. Oh, it is a very good Pokemon. That's another like, I mean, we're talking about home. I just want home integration solely so I can pull up, like, all of the old, like, well, not old, but, like, the really great Pokemon, my shiny Mimi, my shiny Azumarill, even, like, for, like, raids and such. Like, I have a shiny Steely Spirit,
Berserker,
shiny Mankey, shiny Gibble. Like, I have a bunch, like, my shiny Murkrow. I hope I didn't evolve my shiny Murkrow in BDSP. If I did, I'm going to be very mad at, like, past me. But, like, we're going to assume that I didn't and I have it. But, like, those are, like, certain Pokemon that are, like, or even, like, I know Doodle gave me a shiny Grim, like, 2 years ago, honestly. Shout out Doodle. They're just phenomenal. And that was the Grim that I took to Secaucus. When the starters come back, being able to bring the Rillaboom I brought to Secaucus.
Yeah.
Like other Pokemon that we know, or at least have an idea, are coming with home as well. The Hisuian forms, and so on and so forth.
That's something I'm very excited for, is the Hisuian stuff.
I wonder.
Team of the week.
Huh?
So I got next week's team of the week.
Well, we haven't talked about this week's team of the week yet.
Yeah. So like,
seems sick. It has Tinkaton and Skeledirge on it.
Oh my god.
Oh Lord. No, with Skeledirge, not Skeledirge, Jesus, Tinkaton. That was a Pokemon. Sealark and Chris. Long-term, old head member of the our community. Very good player. Had qualified for both Players Cup 3 and 4. That was a Pokemon that he really liked. Like, when we were getting all the leaks and stuff, like before we got the gameplay in, that he really liked. Because I remember saying that, like, at the time I thought Mimikyu was going to be a top tier Trick Room setter, which maybe when the format slows down, it happen.
Not with DDTR sitting around. It's never gonna. The fact that Indeedee female now has Trick Room and Follow Me and Psychic Terrain, it's the best. You could just play any other setter next to it that you want, and it'll be fine. Because Indeedee got your back.
Let me speak this into existence, guys. Let me cope a little.
No, I will keep you honest, because I really want Mimikyu to be good too, and it's not there right now.
I think I'm at like 45 or 50 games played on cart, which is the most I've had in, I think, literally any season ever. And in those 50 games, I've played 0 Mimikyus. That should be everything you need to know about it, Angelo.
I was saying, like, going back with what Chris was saying to me, because I was like thinking, like, okay, Mimikyu, and then he was like, oh, there's this new, like, Mold Breaker Steel type that can OHKO it, and that was Tinkaton, and he was like, yeah, it's gonna be really good, especially because it had Fake Out and everything, and then we saw its base stats. It's like, again, like,
it makes me wonder.
bulk
It makes
stats.
me sad.
I mean, like its bulk isn't terrible. Like 85, 77, like 105. That's not the worst. It could be a lot worse than that.
Oh, it really could. It could be
base 90,
so much worse.
Base 94 speed, especially for a fake out mon, is like base 94 is like pretty darn good, but it's just like that base 75 attack is just abysmal. Is so bad.
Fun fact: Gigaton Hammer will still OHKO 252 HP, 252 defense Mimikyu.
I can believe that, but to like also like put in perspective like how low, come on, Sharon, with me. How low Tinkaton's base attack is. Tinkaton has the same base attack as Bagon, Jabax, and Shuppet.
I was just pointing out the fact that just like Gigaton Hammer will still OHKO 100% of the time. You don't even have to be max attack. That's the best part. You can play like
so obnoxious.
It's base 160 though.
You could play 172 investment with Adamant. You will OHKO bold 252 defense Mimikyu 100% of the time.
Dude, the best part about it is like it gets fake out and feint. So it's just a menace. It gets fake out, feint, and knockoff. Just like,
yeah,
not go away.
It's like this crazy support dwarf thing.
I think at some point people might be able to figure out how to use it as a support mon. I mean, the typing is format we played because no one actually played Series 13. Let's be honest here.
No one really played 13.
But like the format like people like seriously played before was dominated around a Steel Fairy type. Like I think it's just I don't think we can argue with the fact that Steel Fairy, like the type that the typing.
The typing's great.
It's not just great. It's the best typing in the existence of the game. I think just flat out.
I think there's better typing combinations than Steel Fairy. The reason Steel Fairy just dominated the last format is because it was attached to a Pokemon with base 130 or whatever attack.
Like even let's go back to like 2013, like Mega Mewile was like insanely powerful.
It had huge power, pure power, whichever one. So its attack stat again was insanely high.
I mean, like the typing helps as well. I think, and I think that's the thing with that's killing Tinkaton. I think even if Tinkaton was like an actual like a base, even like if it was like base 90, or like I'm not gonna say base 100, base 100 Marone. That's not even going to talk about that. If it was base 100, it would be a lot higher in usage. But like I mean, in the grand scheme of things, people view going back to my baby and Mimikyu. People view Mimikyu as like a balanced Pokemon where it's able to set Trick Room, it's able to support, and it's also able to put out, if you run the specific set, offensive pressure. And that offensive pressure is coming off of a base 90 physical attack stat. So like if it had that, even if it was like 15 points higher, a base 90, I think it would be just such an amazing Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I can also say this, one of the things I did see, some of the Pokemon that we've seen, especially the non-Ruin and non-Paradox Pokemon, and so like the Pokemon eligible for Series 1, I think we have seen a lot of balance for those Pokemon outside of Goldengo, because whoever thought of Make It Rain, one, settle down with your names of moves, because like just settle down.
I'm still disappointed it doesn't have like a top tier animation. Like it's a fine animation, but it could be so much better.
Like the crazy thing is, like going by like the leaks and such, the initial Make It Rain didn't have the -1 drop to special attack. It was just a straight up,
just the straight up gonna run you down.
And they were like, "Oh,
So
we're just going to make like, oh, the -1's going to balance it." No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't help. Like,
honestly, it should be a -3 in my opinion. For the
I think
spread,
-2 is fine. -2 is where it should be at.
I think -2 would also be much healthier.
Minus
it would be
2
healthier.
and make it less, not 100% accurate.
Okay, that I can agree with. I was saying with 100%, if you were going to make it 100% accuracy, I think you needed to make it -3. And even then, we have Crow, like they're like just spamming haze like it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that you get Prankster Haze next to just one of the best spread moves of all time. Just like, yeah, sure, this is fine. Yeah. Everything's fine.
At least they didn't make it flinch. I mean, we have to look at the good thing. Like, they could have made it flinch.
Time to give my Goldango King's Rock.
Is it? Does it work?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think it does.
I don't think any special moves are technically like contact moves. Could be wrong.
I don't know. Goldango's throwing its body around when it makes it rain, so I don't know. I would be surprised. There are, I believe, a subset of moves that you can make contact with their special, but they require other things going on in the game.
Special contact moves.
Carter looks at that. Let's talk about like your Goldango headcanon. Like on like its hip is like a sideways freaking.
It's the chest.
Like chest drawn. Yeah, exactly.
It's the chest that you find.
What is like your headcanon? Is it like the 99 coins like become like a Pokemon? Like so my headcanon with it is the Imighoul is still in the chest. It's like a mech.
It's a robot.
Okay, so we're on the same page because like I don't know if it's like some people think it's like it's like it just becomes a new a Pokemon like the Imighoul like becomes Goldango and like absorbs like the coins and such. Actually, another thing with Goldango that we have and Imighoul that we haven't really spoke of because I know we don't really actually we only went into Pokemon Go in this podcast's existence in the 2.5 Carl can fix me later years of us doing this podcast really intending to go at some point for Pokemon Go there's going to be an event where the roaming Imighoul will be capturable in Pokemon Go.
Yeah, you'll be able to get the little guy.
Assumingly will be able to be transferred into Sword and Shield, and did it again, Scarlet and Violet. I told you, I have 9 more days where I'm allowed to do that. We don't know like what's going to happen, or like if it's going to be just like for all we know, Goldango has this like completely different form that is evolved from the roaming Imighoul. Yeah, like a physical like Goldango or something like something. There could be like something completely different that we don't even know about.
Yeah,
that is waiting for us in 2023.
Or it could just evolve into just Goldango like normal and just have the chest magically appear.
There are 6 attacks that are special and make contact.
Haha!
What are they?
Do you all think you can name any of them?
Oh my god. Carl, you go with the first one.
Volt Switch?
Volt Switch does not make contact. Okay. Which I'm actually surprised about.
Yeah. We're going to be sitting here a minute.
Thinking. Yeah, you made me take my glass. I can't even see the screen right now. My god, my eyes are awful.
To be fair, now I can see 2 of them I forgot were attacks.
Okay, actually, let's ask the first question. Are these attacks that are in like Scarlet and Violet?
Are they still in Scarlet and Violet, or are they gone?
I believe I want to say four of the six are. Two of them I genuinely don't know.
Is Terrablast one?
Terrablast is not one.
Okay. Honestly, if we get one of these,
I would be impressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Have about
there's
40.
there's two of them that really three of them really make sense.
So yeah,
we have Pedal Dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trump Card, which I genuinely don't know what this attack is.
I'm just go through them. I got that.
Ring Out, which is
Ring Out, if I remember right, is grab locked.
I don't even know.
Oh, dude, actually, there's a ton of Pokemon that get it. Huh.
Oh, I have what Trump Card says. Trump Card inflects. Nope. Wait. Okay, so Trump Card actually has not been in any game since Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Yeah.
So Trump Card inflicts damage and bypasses accuracy checks. Always hit. Unless the target is in a semi-invulnerable state, due to like dig or fly. Its power depends on the remaining power points after use, including the application of pressure. Powering it up when the PP is lower. Calculated as it's a 5 PP move, so max 8. So when 4 more PP is left, so the first time you use it, it is 40 power, and the last Trump Card goes all the way up from base power to 200 base power.
Jeez.
Oh.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And then these last three really make sense. We have Grass Knot.
Yeah, sure.
Draining Kiss.
Yep.
And Infestation. I'm sorry.
Infestation's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Really is. That move traps as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know it can earlier in this pod, like Carl mentioned, like the parish trapping team, and I know like some people are using it. The idea with parish trapping is if you're against the Dondozo Tatsugiri teams that are absolutely dominating the metagame right now, it is combination that I think is very similar to Colossal, not in the terms of its play style. I think both teams play very differently, but in terms of the fact that this is a new ability, one of the Pokemon had a new ability that boosted stats. That initially, when the community saw this ability, it was like, oh, this is like a fun, like best of one meme team. All of a sudden, it just starts winning things. Just over and
Let's give it a double Omni Boost. Who's gonna have a problem?
More so, it goes from a team that's like, oh, is this like a meme to, oh my god, this is meta defining.
Like, oh, this is a thing.
This is really good.
Yeah.
Why are people talking about this?
Series 5, 6, 7, 9.
It's got major Colossal vibes.
Insane.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, and that was like Colossal, because like Colossal really wasn't like legitimate strategy until Santino won Players Cup 1 with it. And I think that was the thing with Dondozo. I mean, Dondozo went and made the finals in the first major Series 1 tour, the Limitless Tour, and that team was piloted by the great Aaron Traylor. Shout out to a fellow Rhode Islander, New Englander. But like, the team is ran in different ways. The way that Aaron ran the team is different from the way, I know, Carl, you were talking about like the Sands variants that were being ran with it, the Spam variants that were being ran with it, the Good Stuffs variants that were being ran with it. It's just like a very, very solid strategy. It's not even as a Cole-esque, but it's very Gigas-esque in the sense of you can have 4 of the Pokemon on the team that do something completely different, that aren't reliant on the Dondozo Tatsugiri combination. but your opponent always has to answer, whether it's the Haze Murkrow, the Meowscarada, so on and so forth.
One of the best ways I can talk about like Dondozo doing well, like the reason it does so well, and like you said, like the other four don't have to matter. Dondozo gets to adapt. It's not like Colossal where you have a huge like combination of 4 Pokemon that you like play to make sure you do your thing with Colossal. Dondozo plus Tatsugiri, yes, you're using 2 slots. The other 4 Pokemon all get to be on the team to make sure Dondozo gets to do its thing.
Yep.
That's the best part, is you're no longer like, you can all in on Dondozo and be fine, because the rest of your team can be different, can adapt and change and flex in and out depending on what you see in the meta.
Yep, 100%. And that's the best part about this, is just being able to be like, well,
I've seen a lot of.
We literally had this conversation this week where it's just like, okay, what's the best Terra type on this right now? And I think the 4 of us in our chat had 4 different answers.
Yeah, like there's Terra Dragon, Terra Grass, Terra Steel, Terra Flying. You're seeing combinations with Sand, combinations with Trick Room, combinations with Perish Trap. There's a whole lot of just everything going on with Dondozo, and there will never be just like the strictly best Dondozo team across the series. It'll change as time goes on and as people come up with different answers and different ways to beat it. And Dondozo just gets to slot out a piece and slot something else in to make that matchup better. Then you have to go in and change your whole team to adapt to that. And that's the problem. That's where Dondozo's going to be. That's why it's so good. It's different than what Colossal, where you had to play Rillaboom and Incineroar to kind of do your thing to make sure your Colossal could survive and do its stuff. And now instead you're just like, well, I can just play Meowscarada and this other attacker and this other attacker and this other attacker.
I mean, I'll also go and say this. Like, let's call it what it is for Gen 8. Was there a grass type or a fire type, or like 2 supports worth using more than Rillaboom and Incineroar? I mean, what it is, they're probably 2 of the most perfect Pokemon ever made.
Rillaboom only saw so much play because it had Fake Out and Grassy Glide and Grassy Terrain.
100%.
I still think it's going to see a decent bit of play when it does return, even though
I think without Grassy Glide, Rillaboom dies a lot more.
Yeah, 100%. I think Rillaboom's usage is going to fall off the side of a cliff, and that's not to say it's not going to be playable, but like what it was doing is not going to be what it's going to be able to do now.
Yeah, like you're going to see it. It has to play bulkier now because you're not having priority Grassy Glides all the time.
I actually think it could even play differently. Like, I mean, Fake Out plus a pivot move, we know just historically is always really, really strong. I know we aren't seeing it as much right now with, because I know everyone's fear, like when it was announced that, when it was revealed that Grim got Parting Shot, was that there was a nerfing priority pivot move plus Fake Out to just nerf opposing offense and then have the Fake Out to just pretty much ignore a Pokemon for a turn and just have that pressure. Grimmsnarl, of course, hasn't been as scary, mostly because of the event of like no one knew about Clear Amulet, which
that's a big thing. Is like now we have Clear Amulet and Covert Cloak to just kind of say, sorry, you can't always do your thing. Like you can click Fake Out into either the Covert Cloak bond or the bond that's immune to it. Like,
I love Covert Cloak, man. It's such a good item.
And so now it's just like, now that we have open team sheets, Fake Out gets better and things like that'll get better. We'll start to see that pop up more because people will know, hey, I know where the Covert Cloak is. I know where the Clear Amulet is. I know that this is what I need to watch out for. And things like that'll start to trend upward again. But it was a real big hit to like Parting Shot, Intimidate, and all that. Like I think Incineroar wouldn't be as popular as it was in Sword and Shield because Clear Amulet is a thing.
Yep.
Covert Cloak is a thing.
I think it still will be solely because, well, maybe not like 80%, like what we're seeing at the end of Series 12 or like 70 or whatever. I have Picolytics up. Why am I making numbers up?
There's literally, I don't think any Intimidator is like in the anywhere near the top 10 in Picolytics.
Actually,
Probably
so
not.
on Picolytics right now, your first Intimidator
is Arcanine.
That's so
at 11.
disappointing.
Arcanine's at 11.
And I think a big part of that is it won that first Limitless tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the rest of the like Murkrow crew, and so as a result, like people just kind of took that pace and are like, all right, we're gonna play this now.
Yeah,
And, like that's what it was.
Another big part of like the reason Arcanine's still good is you get to do the kind of Armarouge thing where you get to Flash Fire, Terra Grass, and be this bulky support. Because you still have Snarl, you still have Will-O-Wisp, but you still get to deal damage. You just now have an immunity in fire, and your only other weakness in grass is flying, which is very rare right now outside of Talonflame or the AV T-Tar. And then ice, which you hit most ice types outside of Baxcalibur for super effective damage. So that's the big reason
84.
why Arcanine is doing so well. Like we see they don't even have the abilities up on Picolytics right now. You can't tell if Intimidate's the most popular or if it's Flash Fire. You'd have to go and dig into the Limitless Tour events and see the data on the open sheets there and see what's seeing play and what's getting popular.
Also, Instant was 84%, so I was.
Yeah, I was about to say Instant. Right. We knew Instant was up near the 80s.
I still think like maybe it's not like Instant would be 80, but like Instant does other things, and that's why I was also going to say with Rillaboom, where Fake Out U-Turn isn't stopped by Covert Cloak. It's not stopped by Clear Amulet, and to be able to go and set terrain really isn't really a big aspect of the meta right now. The only terrain that really is commonly used is Psychic Terrain from Indeedee, and at least right now, outside of Murkrow Prankster moves, priority isn't a massive thing. Like sure, like the for Series 1 at least, Dragonite is not as popular. I know once we get the Paradox and more specifically the Ruin forms back, we will see
Chien-Pao and Dragonite and all that coming together.
Chien-Pao Dragonite will be huge. And maybe even, I mean, going way back in this conversation, talking about favorite Pokemon, my favorite Pokemon from this generation is Palafin. Fun fact that I actually don't make like super public on anything I do. I actually am a really big Superman fan. Like massive. Like the first Build-A-Bear I made Amanda was a Superman Build-A-Bear. I have like a nice like Superman watch and everything. Mm-hmm. So fun fact to make in public right now that you actually I don't even think you guys knew that until now. I really don't bring it up that much. But with Palafin being like the Superman Pokemon, like the whole like 0 to Hero, love it, absolutely love it. It's adorable. It is like by far, I think it's probably like my favorite Pokemon that's been made since Mimikyu. But like going back like the Chien-Pao, like Palafin, like Jet Punch and stuff, like or even now it's like the Rain Palafin teams. Palafin's Jet Punches or like Gambit's Sucker Punch. Those are like the priority moves you're seeing a lot, and even then, it's like those aren't moves that like those aren't Pokemon or those aren't moves that you really aren't seeing too often where the Psychic Terrain is really going into play. So I think like if Rillaboom does come in, even with the nerf to Grassy Terrain, the U-Turn, the Fake Out, you can still like even with it losing a lot, not only just the nerfed acid terrain, but it lost a lot of its coverage moves. Just having those 3 attacks there makes it, when it is legal, I think it still will make it a very very, very potent pivot mon, very potent fake out mon, and make grassy
I think they
terrain.
removed high horsepower from Rillaboom as well.
They removed high.
Yes.
I think
That
Boom
sounds
lost.
correct.
I think it lost high horsepower. So it did lose high horsepower. I think it lost superpower.
Did it lose knockoff too?
That's what I was just about to say.
If it lost knockoff, that's a big deal.
I know a lot of Pokemon lost knockoff because it's no longer a TM. But like,
it wasn't a TM last gen. Wait, I don't think it was a TM
also had it naturally too. So like,
I think it did keep Snarl though. So like in the you could do like Grassy Glide, Fake Out, U-turn Snarl with an AV, run it like 2017.
You have Stomping Tantrum now.
I'm sorry. You have Stomping Tantrum. You could Snarl and run it like 2018, 2019 Incin, like minus the Intimidate plus the terrain. And have a Fake Out Pokemon that can pivot out and then also threaten Snarl. So like instead of maybe running it bulkier, you're actually running like 252 Jolly sets and making it fast for those fast Snarls and those faster U-turns and such. Or even just like fast fake outs.
Max speed Rillaboom is only 150.
Faster than other Rillabooms.
Well, the problem is you're not fast enough to matter most of the time. Like you're not outspeeding a Hydreigon. You're not outspeeding. I think you outspeed Goldengo by 1. You do.
I think you do. Yeah.
You outspeed Goldengo by 1, which is cool until they click Tailwind and then you're sad.
Or just cut me off and just make me sad. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't see things like Rillaboom didn't see a whole lot of play until it got Grassy Glide, right, in Series 5. Because we got the HA starters before Series 5. We got them in Series 4, and it did not make much of an impact there.
No, will disagree. So the non-grassy glide, grassy terrain Rillaboom did win the Players' Cup Invitational.
Wasn't that Series 5 though?
The Invitational was Series 5, yeah.
No, the invitation. I believe it was. I'm going to look this up. I want to say it was Series 4. That was Yuri. So, Players Invitational.
And just because it won an event does not mean make it good.
That's very true.
Still decent, I think it will be.
To all of our Magic fans out there, Scred won a GP. That doesn't mean it's good.
You're speaking like not English to me.
Scred was this like super like gimmicky modern deck, like just deck for this format.
So a gimmick won a major.
But like it was kind of well positioned for that like Grand Prix for that weekend. And
that's not a gimmick. That's a meta call.
And like the worst part is the guy bought the deck that morning. Like he went to the vendors around the rooms and bought everything for it.
So actually, because I know that Magic, I've never played Magic. I have zero experience. I am a Pokemon TCG player. Means that an old one at that. So like, aren't Magic cards like expensive? Like more like, was this like literally just like a budget gimmick deck that just was the right meta call?
It's the idea behind it was like a prison based deck. So like you want to play like these prison based lock pieces and everything to prevent your opponent from playing the game, essentially. Okay. And eventually you win.
Like was it like a cheap, like even like monetary wise, like was it like a cheap enough deck where it's like, oh, the guy like dropped like $100 some odd to like get like buy it like that morning?
Some of the stuff probably was not that cheap. I think the entire deck at the time was like $500 maybe, if that. Which Carl will tell you, for a Magic deck, it's not a lot.
No, it's not. There's a lot of money sitting on my wall. It just Magic.
There's a lot of money sitting on my bookshelf still.
There's a fun fact, a fun row fact, a fun Rosif fact. Main reason why I started getting into like VGC, like anything, because as you know, I was a TCG player. I played competitively for like 3-4 years, longer than that. Was the thought process of getting new cards costs more money. I already bought the game, and then they announced the DLC. I'm like, oh, I'll have to buy that, but I was going to buy it anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally the start of me playing VGC, a game that has defined my life the last like almost 3 years, and has reignited my true love for this entire franchise. I mean, like right behind my computer right now is my Pokemon Advent Calendar. Actually, I think I can do this. You guys see this?
Yeah.
This is bad podcasting. You see this?
It's okay. We're more than just an audio podcast, so people are getting this experience live.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is like all of it is because of VGC, and the reason why I chose VGC was because I already knew I was spending the money. Like I bought the game. I didn't feel like emptying my wallet for Pokemon, like because at that time this was like,
that's good enough. I get that. I understand that feeling.
So like, speaking of spending money and having to add things, what are your because we had no plan going into this. This is just
we're off track. I'm trying to find us a transition point.
Here's the transition point. So last
Carl, get us to Branson.
So in 2019-2020, the DLC for Sword and Shield was announced in January. So it was, I want to say January 20 something. I want to say 22nd. I kind of remember when I did that whole like trailer like analysis thing, but not official like 100%. Aesthetically, we are potentially getting the DLC trailer within like a month or two.
Maybe.
What do you guys want to see from a Gen 9 DLC? What do you what do you expect to see?
So I think the obvious thing is it's not going to be one DLC. Based on how the DLCs worked for Sword and Shield, I could see them expanding it out to 3. I could see 2 or 3 easily.
Okay.
And I think whatever the last one is when we get access to all the box legendaries. Just very similar to how we had it in Sword and Shield. I think the way that they did that was very good, where here's all your restricteds. You know a restricted format is coming now. I think that worked out excellently. And I think like the biggest thing that a lot of people are going to say is, oh, I want my favorite Pokemon back. Like, yeah, obviously, more Pokemon means a more diverse format, right? Like, to an extent. But there's a lot of things I honestly think could be way more viable in this format, having access to Terra and all the new items that have been accessible. There's a lot of things that I'm really excited for.
God, I want Swift Swim Kingdra with Terra. I just want it.
I just want Politoed back, man. Like,
I'll play with freaking Pelipper. I'll play with Pelipper. That's the point I'm at. I was like, I'll play with Pelipper if I could have Kingdra.
Give me back Scald on my water type.
Scald was busted to begin with.
The biggest problem I had with Scald, and I was actually telling my old roommate about this yesterday, because he just got a Switch like this week.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, he has been playing, and he was over last night. I'm like, yeah, I will show you some of the new Pokemon. I have teams on my cart already. We can go ladder. And I got to show him Mousehold, and he's just like, this thing's stupid. Like, yeah, it's great.
Mousehold's dumb.
But
just play Rocky Helmet.
There's so many Pokemon that I'm really excited to get back. Stuff like
Hello Swine.
Nah.
I have
here. I'm pulling up Nat Dex and see what all is in here that I just like haven't played with.
I want
What are those
Wheezing back.
fighting words?
Ooh, Excadrill.
You can keep
Actually, would
Excadrill.
like Wheezing.
I want Wheezing back.
Actually, want me to tell you? Want
Oh,
me to
can
tell
we
you
get
what would be amazing
Lander's
right now?
Therian back?
No.
Settle down,
We're gonna
Carl.
get it probably
Absolutely
anyway.
not.
We're very
Lander's
likely.
Yeah.
Therian and Regieleki.
We're very likely to get Landorus, Landorus, and all the genies back because Enamorus is new to Pokemon Legends Arceus, and so it's probably going to be here's all the genies.
Yep.
I want to hear like a nightmare statement, just like with what Carter said. Life Orb, Terra Electric, Regieleki.
Meh.
And
It
hear me
was
out.
already blowing things up to begin with without the
You don't even need
the
the Terra.
Terra.
If you're going to Terra on Eliki, you're going to do it to get coverage for the first time ever.
Yeah.
But
That's
like,
exactly why you're going.
How...
You're not going to Terra Electric. You're going to Terra into something.
Think of how strong those E-webs are.
They already are.
They already are. You already have
they're even
transition.
stronger.
Things.
They're even stronger.
Honestly, another thing I'd really like is like for them to expand out the like TM list, or give me a freaking shop I can just buy, all of them.
Yes,
at.
oh my god.
I do not see how everyone's had a problem with this.
It's more of a like, again, I actually haven't crafted any. I don't have a problem with it because I haven't built a team. I've been playing nothing but rentals.
Like, I have so many
haven't built
materials.
anything.
I have so many copies of TMs because they just spawn in the overworld.
Yeah, like I'll pick them up and everything. That's fine. Don't bother me none.
Like, and the best part is you don't even have to fight the material Pokemon. You could fight an evolved form of that Pokemon and it'll be fine.
So my thing, I mean, I also haven't built. I actually haven't even used all the TMs I picked up like throughout my playthrough, and even like now, I haven't touched them yet because I have that like that RPG hoarder mindset.
You're scared of losing them if you use them.
Yep.
Bingo.
I know.
But yeah, I haven't touched it, and also because I mean, I finally have finalized on a team. I'm looking at an Obama Snow team because again, I'm always on brand as the Ice King. Speaking of being on brand as the Ice King, the two Pokemon that I just want to see like just thrive with terrestrialization and the updates from the Hail to Snow is the Alolan Ice Duo. Those are two the first two. Those are the first Pokemon I shiny hunted ever, and the first Pokemon I ever got an accidental shiny of while breeding was Sandshrew and Alolan Sandshrew and Alolan Vulpix. And cause I think the one thing I think Obama Snow can be really good with Terra Water. I think that having the ability to set screens and get that plus on defense is really big, and then Blizzard spam. But what would be nicer is if you threw Fairy type in there instead of Grass type and made it faster, and so you can have like a more consistent ability to get those screens up. I think Alolan Ninetales would be amazing. And then Alola Slash for like your Slush Rush user, I think has, for what we understand, really great coverage. The ability to have that steel.
For now.
I think steel type. For now.
For now.
Until they just ruin it. But yeah, good coverage. A good speed stat for a Slush Rusher, because in the grand scheme of things, almost all Slush Rushers are very slow. If we friend,
I know Beartic is slow, so Titan is slow.
I have NatDex pulled up. I can just type in Slush Rush real quick.
Have it right here.
Fastest Slush Rush user we have is the Titan at 73.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. Like that was like, I mean, Alola Slash is 65.
65 is the second highest.
So yeah, up until Titan, Alola Slash was the second highest.
Man, and I think that was another better than.
Dude, and like on top of that, Titan has 3 very good abilities. Like You don't have to play it just Slush Rush.
You don't, which is nice. But Alola Slash is my baby, so.
Understood. Man, I'm trying to figure out like what Pokemon I really want to come back that I think would actually make a difference in this. And like I think a big part of it is just like I think all the Hisuian forms are really sick, and I'm excited to see all them because we've never seen them. Like
Ursaluna.
That's what I was gonna say. I remember talking to just doing way before we even knew what Pokemon, we just had an idea on what Pokemon were returning, not what new Pokemon would do. Theory crafting with Chase, Tiki, for those of you, our good friend from ATX, again, great friend of the pod, talking about how Ursaluna would be just this dominant Trick Room sweeper.
Yeah.
And I still think that can be the case.
We just have to see when we get it and what the format looks like around it. Okay. With all
you
that,
you want to get the team of the week, Carl?
I'm about to say we can go team of the week. We can go guess that mystery mon. I don't care.
Team of the week.
Let's do team of the week.
So, I was scrolling through the old Twitterverse as one does, and I came across we talked about last week on the tier list how it's really interesting how Gallade has this super unique place in the format, and I wanted to explore it some and be able to play with it because I hadn't been able to do so yet. And so then naturally, because Elon is always listening to us, I came across this on Twitter thanks to CJ, who I believe his Twitter handle is Pokemon Veteran CJ. Go follow him; he's fantastic. I've been following him for a while, and his stuff is great. But this team he took to the top 1,000 on Cart, so obviously is a very good player and can play very well. And it has Gallade on it as well as the Terra Flying Gengar that's been running around. That I'm like, these two together are really sick. Talonflame is an awesome Tailwind setter that I've been really satisfied with on multiple teams. And we talked about how Supreme Overlord King Gambit felt like it was also kind of underexplored and underplayed. And this team just kind of clicked on all the boxes that I really wanted to play with all at once. And this team's very cool. I would highly recommend this team.
Yeah.
I think the laddering video, it's so good, man. Gallade I think came every game and it punched something hard every time.
I mean, that's what it's designed to do. It's got sharpness plus life orb. It's gonna punch things, or in this case, cut things.
There was a game where, I think I played against Indeedee Armarouge twice, and I figured they were going to set Trick Room, so I clicked Trick Room on turn 1 to prevent them from doing so, and so they just double attacked. I'm just oh, that's really unfortunate. Now Trick Room's up, huh? And then it just happened to be that I undersped their mons under Trick Room with Gallade. So it's just
oh, nice.
Oh,
okay. That works out.
So I just punched them really hard with it instead. It's the dumb play was the play that I felt was dumb was actually the correct play, and it works out. I think I played against Dondozo a couple different times as well.
How'd that matchup feel?
Unlosable. I think I lost it, but I think it's unlosable. I think one of them I did lose because of something I can't remember. But then another one is just oh, you brought out Tatsugiri and you didn't switch into Dondozo. Okay.
I was also going to say, the way that the team is built, you have the Clear Smogamungus along with the Haze Gengar. I think both of those really, really help.
You don't the worst part is the matchups where I played Dondozo, neither of those happened. What happened was Rotom terrored and clicked Thunderbolt and did 60%, and then Gallade Sacred Sworded and KO'd it.
Yo. Well, even Glade Psycho Cut. Like Psycho Cut has that boosted crit chance.
Yeah.
And as we know,
Yeah.
with one of the reasons why Meowscarada is such a really, really good Pokemon right now is because it runs like a mini Urshifu between Meowscarada, Urshifu. Being able to crit and ignore screens, ignore defense buffs and such is really, really good. And I mean, if you're able to crit that Psycho Cut with the sharpness boost, with the stab, with the life orb, that is so much damage.
The number of times
Yeah.
where I'm just like, all right, so we'll just Psycho Cut this slot. Oh, that KO'd. Well, now we're in a good position. It's just like, huh, this all worked out.
Yeah, who knew? Glade hits like a truck.
It's really awesome. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Glade because it's been bad for so long, and it's literally textbook definition of what a good ability on a Pokemon can do to make it good. Like it's just.
Well, you go.
It's just like it's genuinely insane to me how much that like it's just people should play this. Please play Gallade. Please play Gengar. I think both of these are very good, and I think they're good together.
Well, I am actually another thing. I'm really happy to see Gengar. The first VGC team I made with the help of you guys on
It was the iSharp Gengar
on
team,
Easter
right?
2020. It exactly was. I submitted it. I think it's like it's an episode like the teens is my team of the week.
It's really early. I do remember that.
Yeah. So I love the fact that Gengar's here. I love that like flying Gengar can give you that like
levitate Gengar.
Fast Icy Wind is really, really good. Like fast Icy Wind is amazing. It was not this series, but pre-series 1, where we were assuming that the Irwins and the Paradox forms were illegal. Iron Bundle or Paradox Delibird, Merry Christmas, everyone, or Happy Holidays in general, for all of the non-Christmas celebrators out there. Iron Bundle was the fastest mon in the game, one of the fastest mons in the game, and had Icy Wind. And going back to our whole like Alecki thing, as we learned from Alecki, having the ability to have be one of the fastest Pokemon on the field, having a spread move to make your both opposing Pokemon not fast, is really, really, really good, guys.
Really powerful. So I played a couple matches with this last night, and I led like Gengar plus Talonflame. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna set my Tailwind, and then I'm gonna get to Icy Wind them. They're gonna click Earthquake to KO my Gengar, and then it's like I'm gonna outspeed them because they're -1, and I'm gonna be faster. So I Terra, and then they clicked Rock Slide. I'm like, got it. I'm very dead. Yeah, Team of the Week. It was great. I love it. Go play it.
It's amazing.
It's where I'm at.
Yep.
Vibes are immaculate.
Okay.
Let's go to the surprise Pokemon, the mystery mon of the week.
Hint number 1 last week was using only a Pokemon's stats, abilities, and typing. This Pokemon has the strongest Fake Out in the game. Hint number 2, this Pokemon learns a move of every type except for Dragon and Fighting. And hint number 3, this Pokemon's evolution line is the only line with multiple regional forms. That one in and of itself narrows it down to be exactly Persian. And
yep.
Persian's great.
Tony
It's really, really cool. It has a lot of things working for it. And unfortunately, it's just like one of those things that, like, you know, it'll see play from time to time, and you know, it's fine. It's a Pokemon that exists.
I think Alolan Persian gets much better once we get that.
For sure.
That's another Pokemon I want home for. 'Cause, again, have my shiny.
For sure. So that brings us to this week's hint number 1. This is the only fully evolved Pokemon with its typing. Hint number 2. This Pokemon has 9 combined resistances and 1 immunity. And hint number 3, this Pokemon has 2 moves of the same type that lower or raise its speed. Huge shout outs for Aaron to once again putting this together for me, because I haven't had anything, I haven't been able to contemplate anything else in life. So Aaron's great. Thank you so much, my dude. And I'm excited to hear everyone's guesses down in the comments section below.
The Pikachu.
The
We're getting out of here, Carl?
Yeah, we're getting out of here.
All right.
Oh, I see how it is.
All right. As always, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Angelo, thank you for joining us as always, my dude. It's been a blast. But it's about time we call it a day. I am exhausted. It has been a day and a half. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're listening over here on YouTube. If you're listening on any of the audio platforms, make sure you go ahead and drop us a 5-star review on all those. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, all the stuff that you can do on all those to really help us out. Past that, you can go ahead and follow us over on Twitter at LR Lessons, myself at Mr. Missouri 25, Carl's at Musical VGC. Angelo, where do you want me to send people for you?
I want to say at Littleroot Lessons or at LR Lessons, but you already got that. You can follow me at VGC. You can find me on the Littleroot Lessons Discord, link in our Twitter profile, which is again at LR Lessons. Follow us on Twitter. I'm the social media manager. Make my job easier. That's all you can find me. You can find me other places, but I'm not going to tell you where you can find me there.
And let's see, you hit Discord. You can follow Carl and I both on Twitch as well. That is at Mr. Missouri 25 and at Musical. And, you can go ahead and check out the website at lrlessons.com. Check out the merch page while you're there. Check out all the written articles that we have up on the site as well. And I think... no, hold on. If you want to, support us, but you don't want to pick up merch, you can always do that over on Anchor for as little as 20 or 25 cents an episode. And it really does go to help us keep our lights on and keep us sane, and pay for my car, because that's a whole ordeal that we're not even going to touch.
No, we are not. Another thing that I can just jump in that is that we have started streaming on YouTube as well. I know Carl pretty much did his entire Gen 9 playthrough on YouTube, so that is another place where you can find us when we aren't streaming on Twitch. We are streaming on YouTube on the Littleroot Lessons channel.
I think that's going to be it. I think that's a wrap.
That's it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening, and until then, have a good one. Peace.